Have you ever been terrified of something you knew was perfectly safe, like a spider behind glass, or a turbulent plane with a flawless safety record? Your mind knows you're fine, but your body doesn't care. Your heart pounds anyway. As a family physician, my job for years was to be the calmest person in the room when everything was going wrong. And today I'm going to explain the clinical reason why you literally cannot think your way out of fear, and the one physical trick that actually works. So you do the thing everyone tells you to do. You try to think your way out of it. You tell yourself the statistics. You remind yourself it's fine. You reason with the fear, and it doesn't work. It almost never works. Once you understand what's happening inside your body, you stop wondering why logic isn't working, and you learn the thing that actually does work, which is not what most of us were ever taught. I'm Dr. Dickinson. I'm a family physician, and for years, one of my main jobs was being the calm person in the room when something had gone very, very wrong. Today, I want to talk about fear. Not as a feeling to be ashamed of, but as a system. Because it is a system, and it follows rules. If you've watched my other videos, you've heard me talk about your two brains, your smart brain and your survival brain. The smart brain is the front part, the planner, the part that weighs consequences and makes decisions that you're proud of later. And then there's the survival brain, the older, faster one, built to keep you alive before there's any time to think. Here's the part I didn't get to the last time, and it's the key to fear. These two systems are not equal partners. When your survival brain decides there's a threat, it doesn't politely ask your smart brain for a second opinion. It acts first and explains later. It has to. When you're scared of something, your smart brain isn't allowed to be in charge. Your survival brain automatically takes over to make sure you're safe. If a car suddenly swerved towards you, you wouldn't stop to analyze the situation. Your body would react first. Evolution favored speed over careful thinking because in a real emergency, speed is going to be what keeps you alive. The problem is that your survival brain isn't very good at telling the difference between a real threat and a safe one. A spider behind glass and a snake at your foot light up the same alarm. A hostile audience and a hostile bear pull the same lever. The system is old. It doesn't know it's the 21st century and that we aren't going to be eaten. So when people say, just calm down or be rational about this, they're asking you to use a tool that fear has temporarily unplugged. No wonder it doesn't work. So think about the last time you had to do something that scared you but was completely safe. Speaking up in a meeting, a hard conversation, or for some of us just making a phone call. Your body told you how upset you were, even more strongly than your thoughts. Your survival brain turned on your fight, flight, or freeze response and made sure your body was ready to deal with a bear or a lion or something really scary. Of course, that isn't super helpful if you're trying to have a conversation, give a speech, or make a phone call, but your survival brain doesn't know the difference. If there was a bear in the room with you, would you be able to focus on what you were meaning to say on the phone? Well, of course not. You'd be too focused on the bear. So this can feel kind of like your mind's going blank, when really it's just your mind hyper-focusing on the threat. Your heart beats fast, you breathe fast. Better for running or fighting. Your vision can change. It feels like your vision went blurry. What's really happening was your survival brain switched it from being able to see the notes for your speech or music for your solo to being able to see far away for a good hiding place or to see if the bear is anywhere around. Again, not super helpful nowadays, but that's what your survival brain does. This is all happening because the alarm went off, and the alarm runs the body without asking your opinion. You are not losing control. A very old system is doing exactly what it was built to do. For a lot of my career, when I was supposed to be the calm one, everyone else's alarm was going off. Something would go wrong and a whole room full of people, patients, families, sometimes other staff would tip into fear all at once. And here's what I learned really fast. You cannot reason with a frightened room. You cannot walk in with facts and statistics and expect them to work because every person in there has a smart brain that is not working very well right now. The information has nowhere to go. So I didn't lead with information. I led with calm, a slow voice, a steady body, unhurried hands. Because fear is contagious, but so is calm. When one nervous system in the room settles down, it gives the others permission to settle down too. Humans automatically look around to see if it's going to be okay. If everyone else is freaking out, then it's time to freak out. But if someone who knows what's going on is calm, then it must be safe. And only then, once the body's calmed down, could I actually explain anything and have anyone actually be able to hear me. The teaching came second. The calm always came first. Always. As a physician, I would sometimes have a patient who was so frightened they couldn't take in a single word I said. I could have the clearest, kindest, most accurate explanation in the world, and it would just bounce right off the person in front of me because in that moment, they weren't able to think. People around them would get frustrated. We already explained this. Why don't they understand? But they weren't being difficult. Their smart brain just wasn't in charge. So I stopped trying to explain to a frightened person. Instead, I'd help their body come down first. Slow things way down. Lower my voice. Reassure them, I'm here. We're taking care of things. You're in good hands. Your loved one is in good hands. I'm so glad you came here. You don't have to decide anything right now. You did the right thing. I'd give them time to sit, and I'd watch as their shoulders dropped. Their breaths got slower and deeper. Their eyes came into focus. After that, I I could start watching the thinking coming back online. And suddenly the same explanation I gave a few minutes ago works, because now there's someone at home in the brain to receive it. Whether we're talking about your own body, a room full of people, or the person you're helping, it always comes back to calming the survival brain and the body. You cannot get to the thinking brain until you've handled the fear. And the survival brain doesn't understand words, so you have to address it through the body. Your survival brain is constantly reading your body for evidence of danger, a fast heartbeat, shallow breathing. So the alarm system, these aren't just symptoms of fear, they're proof of it. They're the smoke that tells the alarm there must be a fire. So when you deliberately slow down your breathing, you're feeding the alarm a different report. If the breath is slow, the danger must be passing, and the alarm starts to stand down. This is why a slow exhale calms you when a pep talk can't. It's why people take a breath before doing a hard thing. It's why just calm down fails, but let's take a breath together works. One is aimed at the smart brain that's switched off. The other is aimed at the whole body. It's important to make it a calm breath, though. I used to not understand this and would panic breathe deep breaths and not understand why it wasn't working. Now I pretend that I'm blowing bubbles. This forces me to slow down and breathe deeply and slowly. Taking a drink of cold water helps. Maybe eating a piece of fruit. Would you be stopping for a snack if a bear was after you? Since your survival brain can also be goaded on by anxious thoughts, I like to think about something unrelated. Maybe plan my garden or work through a math problem in my head. Would you be planning a garden if you were being chased by a lion? Now, your survival brain cannot understand an explanation, but it can understand when you're bored with it, when you're not excited about it. So if you're not excited about it, it's probably not a lion that's going to eat you. Knowing this, you can now give yourself some grace and come at these situations with a better strategy. If you've ever gone blank with fear and felt ashamed, stop. Your system worked exactly as it was designed. Your body and your brain were ready to help you survive. It didn't help, but the effort was there. If you've ever tried to reason with a frightened child mid-meltdown and realized that they were beyond reasoning, now you know why. A child in full fear has even less smart brain online than you do. They cannot access the reasonable kid that you know is in there until their body calms down. So you don't out-argue a meltdown. You help the body settle, and you save the conversation for later. When someone is home to hear it, try a drink of cold water, a piece of fruit, or blowing bubbles. If there's something coming that you know will scare you, a hard talk, a moment where you'll need to hold a boundary, a situation where you'll have to think clearly while your alarm is screaming, make your important decisions now, ahead of time, while your smart brain is fully online and calm. Decide who you are and what you'll do before the fear arrives. Because in the moment, that part of you will be harder to reach. The calm version of you is the one who should be making the plan. Fear isn't the enemy. It's an old, loyal system doing its job that it was built for. You don't defeat it and you don't argue with it. You learn how it works and you stop asking it to listen to reason it literally cannot hear right now. You calm the body. The thinking comes back. It always comes back. And that's the clinical truth about fear. And it's the same principle underneath everything I teach. When you understand how your body actually works, you stop fighting yourself and start working with what's really there. If you want the whole picture, how your body and brain actually work, taught clinically and without shame for every age, that's what Making More Humans is built on. You can explore the curriculum and watch your first lessons for free at drrobinschool.com/truth. I'll see you next time. Take good care.